Let's bring in ERShares CEO Joel Shulman. Joel, what is your outlook for the rest of the year?
Well, the second quarter is probably going to end choppy. We're looking at a lot of headwinds in some markets. I mean, we had a strong month, a very strong month. Normally, the adage of sell in May and walk away didn't happen in May. We had the Mag 7, particularly led by Nvidia, which really drove the markets. I think second quarter is going to be a little choppy. We'll see what happens with inflation, CPI, if that comes down a little bit. Which doesn't seem to be on the horizon in the next month or two. But if it comes down, we may have rate cuts towards year end. But right now, it looks like rate cuts are going to be at least deferred until after Christmas, until after the election.
Okay, well, after the election, because President Biden told me I was getting a rate cut before the end of the year.
I don't know. Well, we've got 3 meetings coming up. June is off the table. July is probably off the table. And then no meeting in August. And we have a meeting in September that's going to be very political to try and have one right before the election. And so I don't see it happening until maybe after the election. In fact, the day after the election, there's a Fed meeting. So we'll see if that's, we'll see. That would be the earliest.
All right, Mark, jump in here.
You know, you mentioned the Magnificent Seven and how it's been carrying the market. And we were talking last year about how the Magnificent Seven, depending on which month we were talking, was responsible for 70, 80, 90% of the year's gains at that point in time. It's a little lower this year, but what really sticks out to me is that Nvidia by itself is responsible for roughly 35% of the year's gains in the market, which is absolutely incredible. And you look at Nvidia, you know, last year it was up a few 100%. Everyone said, can't do that again.
Right.
This year, it's up well over 100% again. And when I look at the PEG ratio, the price to earnings divided by the growth rate, it actually looks cheap. What's your take?
Well, you're spot on. We've never had a company like Nvidia. In fact, I just wrote a Forbes column on this thing. The revenues they had for Q1 2024 exceeded all of 2023. And what a lot of people aren't focusing on, the profits. So that was the revenue. So profits in just the last 12 months are $42 billion. That not only exceeds the prior 10, 20, 30 years, it exceeds everything since inception. Put everything else combined, and Nvidia beat it. The prior 30 years since inception were $36 billion. This is a $2.7, $2.8 trillion company. We've never seen anything quite like it.
Wow, AI is amazing. And again, this new platform that they're talking about in 2025 or 6, I can't remember, is incredible. But Joel, I want to ask you about energy.
Right.
Talk a lot about this assault on big oil companies this morning, the political assault. But prices we're sitting at about 81.20 on Brent. Crude WTI is at 77. OPEC Plus agreed to extend all the production cuts into 2025. Obviously, they want to boost prices. And then the energy ministry said that the oil group is awaiting, I like this, concrete central bank action on interest rates before factoring in the potential impact on the energy demand landscape. And then you've got the Aramco offering at $12 billion. What do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about OPEC is that the members cheat. They say they'll cut production, then they don't. And we also have to remember when the prices rise, it gives incentive to other energy producers to come in, other oil companies, frackers and so forth. But the big story coming out, with data centers demanding more energy, we're going to see big concerns with energy. It's not going to be filled by wind or solar. It's going to be filled by nuclear. And I think nuclear is going to be the big story going forward in terms of supporting energy demand, particularly with AI and data centers.
Kevin O'Leary was here on Friday. He was telling me about the data centers that they're building in the Middle East.
Right.
And go over to Abu Dhabi, go to Dubai, you're going to see some data centers being built. Not here, there.